Welcome to my blog. This is Prairie Harmony and my name is Amy. Today I'm going to teach you how to make mini bolts. I learned how to make mini bolts several years ago and it comes in really handy for storing large amounts of fabric. Anything over usually a yard or more makes a really good mini bolt. As anyone knows that quilts or has a lot of fabric, storage for me anyway is at a premium, and I don't always have room to store big bolts of fabric. So I really like when my fabric is displayed kind of like books in a bookcase. For me, it's a lot more convenient. I can pull out the fabric that I want, kind of pull the fabrics apart and slide that fabric back in. So the perfect solution for me when I found out about it was making mini bolts. So I'm going to turn the camera mostly onto the table so I can show you how to do that. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a card like this. These cards are traditionally used when someone is going to display a comic book in a plastic sleeve. And usually this card will either go behind the comic book or inside the inner cover or something like that to give it a little more rigidity and protect the comic book. So this piece, I have a whole stack of them here. You can get them in packages. These I've had for a while. I believe I found them in the same section that you would find sleeves for like baseball cards and things like that. So Target, Walmart, Amazon, something like that. So the measurement, I'm sorry, this phone is sliding here. The measurement for this card is 10.5 inches on the long side and 6.25 on the short side. Okay, so these are some of the fabrics that I have in mini bolts. As you can see, it's nice and tidy, and the card is inside of here. So here's another one. So this is also nice if you were going to pick out fabrics for a project or anything like that. You can simply get the fabrics out. They're all the same size. You could lay them down on your surface and kind of pick and choose what you want to use. It's also kind of nice to see what you have. I don't have it memorized, but some people can kind of tell how many yards they have by counting to the center, just like a traditional bolt. There's a lot of people that can tell how many yards they have by counting to the center. I'm not quite sure how many it is for me. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make these. And I apologize, but my camera keeps falling and I have tightened it up several times and it just wants to keep falling. So I'm not really sure what to do about that, but we're going to do the best we can. Okay, so today I have two different fabrics with me. Well, of course they're with me. I'm at my house. Anyway, I have two different fabrics I pulled out for this project. So I'm going to do a shorter piece and a longer piece just to kind of demonstrate it. If you would purchase fabric off the bolt, it's going to come like this. Okay, so you're going to have your folded side up here at the top. Okay. And then you're gonna have your selvage ends right here. Okay, and it's gonna just unroll from the bolt just like this, okay? So you're gonna get it home and however long the yardage is, that's the distance here, okay? All right, so what you're going to do, and some people like to iron it. If it's not too bad, it's fine. I'm not too worried about it. I find the best time to do this is soon after you've purchased the fabric because it's not very wrinkled. So just coming off the bolt and get home, it's a good time to make the mini bolts. All right, so you're gonna take the folded side here, and I'm gonna turn this camera a little bit more so you can see the project better. You're gonna take this folded side, okay, and this is your salvage side down here. You're going to fold this over onto the salvage, okay? Then you're gonna take one of your cards, and I like to go ahead, if it's not very long or it's convenient, to go ahead and just flip my fabric over, because when I roll this up, I would like the salvage to be on the inside of the mini bolt. So place your card at the end. If it's easier, I can do it at the beginning down here for you to see. Place your card at the end. I kind of center it in here and just simply roll it up. So fold that fabric over the card. Just watch I watch the top folded side, making sure it stays straight. Okay, and then you just have this small amount remaining. What I like to do, so it's a little tidier, is pin it on this side so that it secures the fabric to the mini bolt card, and so it's not in the way. On this particular mini bolt, since we have this flap and it's kind of a small amount, even if I pin it, it's still gonna have these little flaps sticking up, and I don't like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to unroll this, and I'm just gonna move my card inward a little bit so that I have some extra fabric over here. Okay, and then I'm gonna rewrap it. So by repositioning the fabric inward, when I finish wrapping the mini bolt, I have a little bit more of an end piece here, okay? So that's gonna lay a lot better. And when I pin it, it's not gonna be so bad. It's not gonna get caught as easily because it's not hanging off over here to the edge. So I do not have any more of these long yellow pins. I'll take one out right now, okay? I don't have any more of those, but I do have some regular like quilting pins. And you can see the difference in the length of those pins, okay? I prefer the yellow topped pins. And if I'm not mistaken, they're quilting pins, I believe. And I've had them for a long time. So I will have to get some more to make more mini bolts. But I feel like they work the best. And the reason why is when you're pinning this, it's a flat surface. So it's kind of hard to get this pin in here and come back up. And so the length of the yellow pin, it really helps to secure that more easily, I feel. But this is gonna work just fine. We're gonna use what we have. So to secure it, I'm just going to stick this pin in here. You only need to go through the very next layer. You don't need to worry about pushing down all the way into the card. And then because this is a short pin, I can kind of bend it slightly and get it to come out onto the fabric here. And that's a mini bolt. So later, when I have things a little bit more organized in this space, I will have another shelf up here, and then I would just simply go to the shelf, put it in with the other mini bolts. So, just like these. So the nice thing about that is if I want something, I can kind of pull it apart, take it out of the shelf, use it. If I haven't used it down to like a fat quarter size, then I will keep wrapping it onto the mini bolt. See secure it in here. Once I use the fabric down, like I said, to about a fat quarter size, then I will go ahead and fold it up and store it in with either my fat quarters or my scrap pieces, depending on how much I have. So we'll make one more of those just to show you again. This time I'm going to use a little longer length of fabric. Okay, so this is my selvage here. So this is quite a bit longer. Almost 2 yards it looks like. So what I'm gonna do, just for convenience, because there is quite a bit of yardage, is this is my folded side. This is what the fabric, this is the selvage right here. This is what the fabric would look like coming off the bolt. Okay, so it would continue on that way. All right, so, and just to help visually. Okay, so here is the top of the fabric right here. And then at the bottom, we have our selvage right here, okay? Hopefully you can see that okay. All right, so top and bottom. All right, so because I do not want my selvage on the outside of my bolt, I'm going to fold it up to the fold line from the fabric. All right. And this one, I would probably iron because as you can see, there's some pretty heavy creasing here. So that way it would just be a lot smoother on the mini bolt. Okay, and I'm just gonna go down the whole length of the fabric and I'm going to fold it over. Selvage to the fold. I'm not gonna worry about straightening the fabric out, how some fabrics are a little bit crooked when they come off the bolt. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel here. I'm just folding selvage to fold. And I'm just folding up my extra fabric down here because I'm just gonna start on this end with my card. And so for convenience, because there's so much yardage, I'm just simply folding it up down here at this end to kind of keep it from coming off the table, essentially is what I'm doing. Okay, so we've got that selvage. A little bit of it is peeking through, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna try and I'm not gonna worry, like this is one side of the fabric with the selvage side showing, and this is the other side that ends. And as you can see, as we get further down to the end of the table here, you can see more of this white peeking through. I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm not gonna mess with that. All I'm concerned about is folding them together right now. Okay, so I'm gonna take my card. Again, I've got my same, I guess it's like a comic booking card, something like that. I don't know the technical name for it. Okay, and I'm sure any width of card would work, but this is ideal because it happens to be the proper length for folding over your fabric and having it fit. Okay, so I'm gonna place this card at the end of the fabric and we're gonna roll it just like the other one. And honestly, because there's so much fabric here, I may not even worry about a little tail end if it happens to not match up. We'll see. And we're gonna keep rolling. Some of these can be kind of thick depending on how much fabric you have. But this is a wonderful way to store yardage. Like if you're making a quilt and you finish the quilt, I know very few quilters who do not buy extra fabric, myself included. So we always tend to have quite a bit left over from our projects because we'll use them for another project. So this is the perfect way to store that yardage and not just have piles of folded fabric. Okay, and we're almost finished, and I think it's gonna fold pretty nicely. So with this one, it almost looks like it's gonna go perfectly to the edge, and it is. So I could probably pin this. It's just gonna have a little bit here, but that's not a big deal. Okay, so another idea of a way that you could end this, and I have done this before, is to kind of find, I guess, 2/3 of the way across. If it's gonna end, you can tuck it. Whoops, I didn't get all of it. You can raise this up, okay, and just fold it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just fold it to where it's even with this top right here. Fold it back a little bit, and then you have an end right here instead of the very end of the card, where if you're sliding this in and out of a bookshelf, those ends might get caught on the very end. So I might just pin this here, or it's your choice. You can pin it at the end, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna go ahead and pin it back so it doesn't get caught on other things. All right. So again, I'm gonna use my pen. Just gonna start it in here. This is fairly thick, and I remember I'm going through that end fold. So I'm gonna just put it in here. I can't hold it up to the camera, it's too thick. Kind of bend it. Woo, and I barely got it through. So you can see it's here, and it came through right there. All right, so I have a mini bowl. So instead of having all that folded fabric that I had before I made the mini bowl, and it was just stacked up somewhere, I can access it more easily. I can pull it out again to match with another project, and they can be stored in a bookshelf, which is wonderful. I love it. It's so clean. It's very organized. I like to organize my fabric by color. So for me, when my fabrics are in mini bolts, in my previous sewing room, I had shelves that were on brackets on the wall that my husband installed for me, and I loved it. I had my fabric sorted by color. I could easily go up and pick out a shade of color or a couple of them that I was looking for a project. If it didn't work, I could simply kind of push them apart and slide that fabric back in, just like a book in a bookshelf. So I highly recommend this way of organizing your fabric. It's simple, it's convenient, and the cards, they weren't very much. I can't tell you right now today what they cost, but maybe, you know, they were under $10 for a package of cards. So again, they might be a little bit more today, but you can make, I mean, each card is one mini bolt. So comparatively, that's a really economical way to organize your fabric. So anyway, if you have any questions, you can leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer any questions for you. If you please like this video, that would be wonderful. And if you like the content on this channel, please subscribe. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. There is a bell beside the subscription button, and you can adjust when you get notifications for new videos posted. So thank you for watching. I'm glad you're here. Have a great day.